When people think about recruiting, they often picture office jobs. LinkedIn searches, polished resumes, and candidates who know how to sell themselves. But today, I want to talk about a very different role in the light industrial recruiter and why I believe it can be an outstanding career path for the right person. In many cases, becoming a light industrial recruiter is not someone's first job. It's a next step. A progression, a role that grows naturally out of real warehouse and operations experience. I've seen some of the best recruiters come from roles like inventory control, receiving, warehouse clerks, inbound and outbound dispatching, and even from the floor, forklift operators, order selectors, and leads who understood people as much as productivity. And that experience matters more than you might think. I'm Marty, and today on Warehouse and Operations as a Career, I'll share a few more of my opinions with you. I've mentioned before how I have to dip my feet into recruiting waters every once in a while, and for the last couple of weeks, I've been sourcing for a staffing agency light industrial recruiter. I started thinking of what experiences were really needed, for this particular position anyway, and kind of expanded my search parameters, and I think for this unique opportunity, it'll help my results. So I started thinking, if you've worked in inventory control, you already understand accuracy, accountability, and the different systems. If you've been a receiver, you understand urgency, coordination, and dealing with drivers and operators under pressure. If you've been a dispatcher, you know scheduling, problem solving, and communicating clearly when things go wrong. All of those skills translate directly into recruiting. Because recruiting in the light industrial world isn't just about filling jobs. It's about matching people to environments where they can succeed. And maybe you can't do that unless you understand the work itself. Now, light industrial recruiting is not white-collar recruiting or office types, and it can't be treated that way. Our candidates don't always have resumes. They don't always know the job titles that they've held. They may not know or be able to share what equipment they ran or what metrics they were measured on. And that doesn't mean they're bad workers. It means we have to work harder as recruiters. In this arena, recruiting becomes part investigator, part coach, and part listener. Sometimes you have to pull the answers out of our applicants instead of waiting for them to be handed to us neatly and communicated clearly. I've also been helping recruit for pallet runners this week, and I found I really have to talk their language for a few minutes and listen to them so I can know what questions to ask about their previous experiences. Something like, tell me about your day. What did you do before break? What equipment were you closest to? Who trained you? Now that they feel a bit more at ease from sharing things they're comfortable with, I can ask specifics about the equipment they operated, the pace of their last job, and how they enjoyed it. Jumping into what I need to know sometimes just shuts them down. I have to listen first, then interview. So I feel one of the most important traits of a successful light industrial recruiter is patience. Patience when candidates show up late but still want to work. Patience when they don't understand why attendance matters. And patience when they struggle to explain their work history. Now hang on, those that know me are saying that's not Marty talking. Yes, I do struggle with patience on attendance and being tardy. But patience doesn't mean lowering standards. As a recruiter, I think it means taking the time to educate, to explain expectations, and to be clear about consequences before problems happen. Maybe those things haven't ever been explained to them. I believe that great recruiters don't just fill jobs, they set people up to succeed. And another reality of light industrial recruiting is that our candidate pool often comes with real life attached. Some people have gaps in employment. Some have prior mistakes. Some are trying to rebuild. This is where empathy matters, but so does judgment. Being a little open with background requirements doesn't mean ignoring safety, compliance, or client standards. It means listening to the whole story, understanding context, and placing people where they can work, not where they hope they can work. A good recruiter balances opportunity with responsibility to the client, to the workforce, and to the individual. If I had to name the single most important skill of a light industrial recruiter, it wouldn't be sales. It would be listening. Listening for what's said and what's not said. Listening for hesitation. That can tell us there's really no interest in the position. Listening for confusion. If they have the experiences they are claiming, there shouldn't be too much confusion. And most importantly, we should be listening for motivation. Sometimes when a candidate says, I can do anything, what they're really saying is, I need a chance. I need this job. A good recruiter hears that and then asks the right follow-up questions. Light industrial sourcing recruiters serve two customers every day. The client, who expects productivity, safety, and reliability, and the associate, who expects honesty, respect, and opportunity. Oh, and I'm going to throw one more in there, the operations team. They expect the skills necessary to perform the task. Balancing all those expectations is not easy. It requires communication, documentation, follow-up, and accountability. That's why this role is a career, not just a stepping stone. For those who do it well, recruiting can lead to leadership roles, operations management, safety, training, business development, and beyond. It sharpens your people skills. It deepens your understanding of operations. It teaches you how decisions impact real lives. The light industrial recruiter is often unseen, often underappreciated, and often misunderstood. But this role changes lives, quietly, consistently, every single day. If you've worked in a warehouse, understand the grind, respect the work, and care about people, recruiting may not just be your next job. It could be your career. Well, there's a bit on recruiting, and it's true that when I'm wearing my operations hat, I'm much stricter than when I'm recruiting. As we've discussed before, every department has their own agendas and responsibilities, even constraints they have to work within. That's why I encourage us all to work and learn as many different departments as we can in our industry. All those positions will prepare us to make solid decisions in both our professional and personal lives. And please remember, no matter what our job is, that safety is our first priority. We and our teammates have family and friends waiting on us at home.